Good morning children, welcome to 7th standard online science class. Today we are going to discuss the new unit in physics, lesson 2, motions. When the position of an object relative to other objects around it does not change, we say that it is at a rest. Okay, what is rest? When the position of an object related to other objects around it does not change, we say that is it at rest. Look at this picture. In this picture, it talks about this plant. Okay, it talks about this plant. This is at rest. Am I right? So similarly, all motions are relative. Okay, all motions are relative. An observer judges his surroundings, assuming that he himself is rest. See, in the first case, we are talking in the point of view of the bike. See, look at this picture. The bike considers itself as rest, and the other things are moving. Am I right, children? Yes. What about the second picture? The three things that it is at a rest and the other things are keep on moving. So the observer only judges himself at rest and the surrounding things are moving. When a body moves from one point to another along a straight line or a smooth curve, its motion is called translatory motion. See, look at the path of this water wave. This water line is traveling in a smooth curve, isn't it? So a smooth curve, this is called to be a translatory motion. What about the path of this car? The path of the car is in a straight line, so this is also a translation. The movement of the object in a straight line is called to be rectilinear motion. What it is called as rectilinear motion. And the movement of the object in the curve is called to be curvilinear motion. Rectilinear motion and a curvilinear motion, both are together called as translatory motion. Do you understood, children? When an object turns or rotates or spins about an axis passing through itself, its motion is called a rotatory. So rotation of the fan is a best example. Similarly, the rotation of the wheels, it rotates on its own axis, no? That is also an example for rotatory motion. So it rotates or spins about its own axis, so it is a rotatory motion. Do you understand? The other example is rotation of the earth. Okay, children? A motion that is repeated after a fixed interval of time is called periodic motion. So what is a periodic motion? A motion that is repeated after a fixed interval of time, that is called periodic motion. For example, oscillatory motion. What is oscillatory motion? Oscillatory motion is the periodic motion of a body about its mean position. Okay. See, have you seen the pendulums? Yes, in the case of pendulums, in the olden clocks and all, we have pendulums, no? So they swing. Are the swings they are used, which is in the park? How does it move? It moves from the center position. That center position is called to be mean position. Okay, that center position is called to be the mean position. So this is the center position. This is the center position, and this is called to be the mean position. And oscillatory, this type of motion, that is moving front and back. Okay, moving front and back, no, that is called oscillatory motion. Okay, moving front and back from the mean position is called to be oscillatory motion. So at which time, so do you understand about oscillatory motion? What is about periodic motion? See, this will not happen in a particular time period. Okay, from moving from the mean position to move from the mean position to forward. Okay, moving forward from the mean position needs some time interval, and when the same thing happens here also. When it returns from the forward position to the backward position, it needs some time interval. For example, here for moving from mean position to front position, if it takes 2 seconds, and returning from the front position to back position, it takes 3 seconds, means the every time when the pendulum swings, it will take the same time period, and that is called to be the periodic motion. So what is a periodic motion? A motion that is repeated after a fixed interval of time. Okay, the time period will be retained the same, so that is called as what a periodic motion. Do you understood the periodic motion and this oscillatory motion? Hope you so. So when a body follows a circular path, it is in circular motion. See, look at the pictures. In both the cases, the objects are moving in a circular path, so they are said to be in circular motion. The position of the body changes continuously, isn't it? The position of the body changes continuously, but its distance from the center of the path remains constant. So, though the body, for example, this wheel, okay, this part of the giant wheel is rotating. It moves here, here, and here. It goes on. But what about the distance of it from the center? It remains the same. This distance remains the same. Am I right, children? Yes. Also, the direction of its motion changes continuously. So, the direction of also at first it moves downwards and afterwards it moves upward, isn't it? So, the direction of the motion also continuously changes in the case of circular motion. This is about circular motion. Do you understood circular motion? Yes. So far we have discussed the different types of motion. Am I right, children? Do you understood all these types of motion? Hope you so. Now we are going to learn about the simple pendulum. A simple pendulum consists of a small heavy sphere suspended by a light string from a fixed support in such a way that it can oscillate freely. Okay, what is a simple pendulum? It is a small heavy, it consists of a small heavy sphere. This is the sphere. So where is the sphere? This is the sphere. This bob, no? That's the sphere. And suspended by a light string from the fixed support. From this is the fixed support. From that it is suspended through a lightweight string. Okay, lightweight string that it is suspended in such a way that it can oscillate freely, that it can oscillate freely. Okay, the movement is an oscillatory one. We understood what is how the simple pendulum is constructed? Yes, good. When a pendulum is at rest with the string vertical, it is at its mean position. So what is the mean position of the string? When it is suspended or when it is at rest, when the pendulum is not moving, it is at rest with the string vertical. The string should be vertical. Okay, at that position is said to be mean position. For example, see, this is suspending as such with the vertical string. So this is said to be the mean position of the simple pendulum. Okay, children? Yes. What about the next one? The next one is the distance from the point of support to the center of the bob is called length of the pendulum. So this is which is the length. So the distance from the point of support to the bob, this is called as the length of the pendulum. Do you understand? Yes. The next one, the small angle made by the string with the vertical, and when the pendulum is at either of the two extreme position is called amplitude of oscillation. So they are making some oscillations. No, they are making some oscillation. While doing so, that oscillation, it makes an angle from its mean position. Am I right, children? From the mean position, while moving forward and backward, it will make some angles. That angle is said to be the amplitude of the oscillation. Do you understood what is amplitude? And have you understood what is amplitude, children? Yes, that sounds good. Then the total time taken by the pendulum to complete one oscillation is called its time period. So the time period of the pendulum is from the mean position. From the mean position, it must move forward, and then it have to go backward, then come back to the mean position again. So the time taken for this is called one oscillation, and the time taken for this for completing this oscillation is called to be the time period. Okay, it is called to be its time period, and the time period is indicated as T, capital T. And T depends on the length of the pendulum. This time period depends upon the length of the pendulum, the string's length. Okay, when you take a long string, it will take more time. When you take a short string, it will take short time. Okay, it increases when the length is increased. Okay, your pendulum. So here are some other examples. Let us discuss what are they. A pendulum with a time period of exactly 2 seconds is called as seconds pendulum. Its length is very close to 1 meter. If a pendulum takes exactly 2 seconds to make to as its time period or make a one oscillation, then we call it as seconds pendulum, and the length is very close to 1 meter. The length of that string hanging the bob, that is nearly 1 meter. Okay. Do you understood this about this simple pendulum? Yes. Speed is the rate of change of distance. Rate of change of distance means distance traveled by time taken. We can calculate the speed of the object by calculating its distance. How much distance it has covered in a particular time period will tell you the speed of that object. You understood, children, how to calculate the speed of an object? Yes, rate of, so in short we can say rate of change of distance. So the unit of speed is meter per seconds. Meter per seconds. Distance is measured in meter. You know that, isn't it? So then time is measured in seconds. So meter per second is the unit of speed. The SI unit of speed is meter per second. Do you understand? Yes. The next topic we are going to discuss is displacement. Displacement of a body is the distance between its initial and final positions measured along the straight line joining the 2 points. It does not depend on the actual path taken by the body. See, listen here, children. See, if you want to travel from A to C, I can travel either either going to B and then to C, or I can travel straightly from A to C, isn't it? So the A is the starting point and C is the ending point. So the distance between these two, the path traveled by the object between these 2 points, initial point and the final point, is called to be what? Displacement. Do you understood what is displacement? Everybody? Yes, that sounds good. They understood. So what about distance? Distance is the one, that is, if an object travels along A, B and C, that is called distance. But if we are talking about displacement, when we talk about displacement, the object travels from A to C and the initial point and the final point of of the object is called as displacement. Do you understand? Yes, similarly look at this picture. In this picture also, the object starts from A, it can travel to P, then to Q, then to R, then to C. That is the distance covered. But what is displacement? The object starts from A and ends at C. So this is the displacement of the object. Okay, this is the displacement of the object. Again I read the definition. The displacement of an object is the distance between its initial and final positions measured along the straight line joining the 2 points. It does not depend on the actual path taken by the object. And the next one is velocity. Velocity of the body is the rate of change of its displacement. So displacement of the body divided by time taken is called as velocity of the body. Keep in mind, distance by time taken is speed, displacement by time taken is velocity. Do you understand, children? Yes, that sounds good. Then the motion of the body is said to be in uniform when the velocity remains constant. So when the velocity remains constant, we say that the object is in uniform motion. Okay, we can say the object is in uniform motion, that it covers equal distance in equal intervals of time. We call it as uniform motion. Do you understood? Hope you have thoroughly understood this lesson. So complete your book exercise, question answers, complete the question answers in your short answers and detailed answers in your classwork notebook. Report in the group without fail, children. Thank you, children. Meet you again in our next class.